Well, I can tell you, despite my recommendation, we now have a piano in our house. I was out because we had a piano that was moved into our parents' house, and my sister was going to play piano, and she did for all of 3 months. And then we had a piano sit in our front room for about 14 years, I think.
Yeah. We did just buy Nolan an electric piano for when he was doing that, but I love it. I love having, and it's so nice weighted keys and.
See, but
it's electric. It's light. I could pick the thing up. You know, it's not a problem.
That's the thing. Like, we have a keyboard, not a piano. Because, growing up, that was, like, the one thing I wanted to save up for, like, more than anything. Like, I'd look in the
guitar?
No, like an actual keyboard, and it was, like, Service Merchandise catalog.
I fucking loved Service Merchandise.
And I'd look and I'd be like, that's the one I want. And it was always, like, just out of my reach. Like, I'd have to keep saving. I never.
And then you bought those Techniques.
And then I bought Lego sets instead.
Yeah.
But we got a keyboard for Mac, and like he was like, "Oh, I want to play piano," and we're like, "Okay, fine." So he has it, and it just sits there and collects dust. If we were ever to get one, I'd want my parents have an electric one because we used to have a upright, and like we never played it. But then my mom was like, "Oh, we always want a piano in the house," so she went and got an electric one.
Yeah,
which is nice, and now it just sits in their place in Tennessee, and I'm like, if you guys are ever wanting to get rid of that one, like, let me know.
4 kids that are probably going to play, and then you want to mess around with it.
I would love to get back into playing. Yeah. That's the one thing I like.
Well, that's what I was asking. Do you play? And you're saying you do a little bit.
I try.
Yeah, like, you can play Runaway. Ding.
I can play Axel F. I can play Clementine. I can play The Saints Go Marching In.
Yeah, nice.
Like a couple of things here and there. But I would actually love to like.
You should get back into it.
Spend some time and learn how to play. Learn
delete
how to
TikTok,
read music.
Delete Instagram.
Right. Get off all that stuff.
Let's just play more music.
Yeah.
Read more books. Go off the grid.
Welcome to our Film Fathers podcast, the definitive podcast about fatherhood, film, and fatherhood in film. This is Jelani, and with me as always are a guy who's officially a has-been, and a guy who's too old to go to jail for poontang. Martin and Brady.
Anybody accidentally kills anybody in a fight, they go to jail. It's called manslaughter. I think all that lethal weapon horse shit is just an excuse so you dancers never have to get in a real fight.
When you come to the end of the line with a buddy who is more than a brother and a little less than a wife, getting blind drunk together is really the only way to say farewell.
This week, we watched Quentin Tarantino's love letter to the golden age of Hollywood. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood brings together and balances homage and originality, blends historical fact and fiction, and of course, highlights those signature Tarantino touches. Some would say it's his magnum opus. Others might say he's telling a fictional story about an actual tragedy. What say you?
Yeah, but that's kind of what he does. He tells, well, I guess not actual
It's like
tragedies.
Please say more.
But yeah, I think this movie was great. It's only my second time watching it. But you guys watched it a lot?
No, it's my second time as well. I just for some reason I kind of felt like this. I think this movie's awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty damn good.
I think
Jelani was on the
This was my
train to
my reason to. I asked to see this because I had never seen it.
Oh, there it is. That was the reason why.
I had not gotten around to watching it. So
I really want to watch it.
I really want to know.
Don't want to waste the viewing.
Right.
Let's make a fucking podcast.
Let's do something about it.
Especially on a long one. And it's long.
It is long.
Yeah.
This was a 2-nighter for me.
It was for me too, but it had less. It had nothing to do with the movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just throughout the whole thing, I kept thinking of Owen Wilson in Royal Tenenbaums.
Yeah.
It's like, so we all know that Sharon Tate was murdered, but this movie supposes she wasn't.
That's really funny.
We all know that Custer died, but this book presupposes it.
That's pretty funny.
That's great. Yeah, totally right. And that's just kind of the ending. There's so much more going on. In this movie. I have to admit I didn't love it. I don't think the first time I watched it. I loved it this time. Yeah, I really and I kind of knew I would. I kind of knew it would take me because I just didn't know what to expect going in the first time, and it felt like a lot of things going on. But he manages to at least to me to tie it all together, and even he does the weave.
So
he brings it all together.
So I think then I probably have to rewatch it because I thought it was fine. I didn't think it was great.
Yep,
I didn't think he did enough weaving. I thought it was too linear. And as much as I love Brad Pitt, I
might leave.
Yeah, I was going to say.
His character was great.
I fucking love.
He's so fucking
he might
good.
be
But
one of my favorite
me
all
too.
time. But is it Clint Booth?
Cliff
Booth.
But the problem is he was too even keeled the whole time.
No, that's his whole. That's
the
his
vibe,
what makes him
baby.
so cool.
I get it, but
Do you?
Nothing gets him excited. Nothing brings him down. Like he's just always even keel. So
you're gonna
there's
have to
no
watch it
emotion
again
with
in a couple years.
Yeah,
Dude.
I mean,
but I appreciate this.
I don't know why.
I'm
I love
yelling
it.
into the mic.
I wish you were doing this more often. I'd be used to it.
The scenes towards the end, we'll get to that. That's when I thought he really took off.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't get any less even keel.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean, he was on acid.
Well,
Yeah.
I think he got a little amped up, but
I think I would argue no.
that's
but
what it really is. What
he's
what
so
I think what
fucking
made it great.
Oh, you're wrong.
And, and to take like a 10-minute aside for the Bruce Lee thing, and when he's just up, you kind of forget that he's up on the roof shirtless. Actually, do you forget that he's shirtless up on the roof? No, you
No.
don't. But like, and then he just comes back and he's like, yeah, that's fair.
What a fucking hunk.
It's just great. It's very, they take their time. He takes his time. Tarantino takes his time with everything in this movie. Nothing's rushed,
Right.
but it doesn't feel, you don't feel bored. I don't think.
I agree, and it is you are blessed with arguably 3 of the greatest actors
Leo.
for the last 50 years.
And who's the third? Margot?
Pacino.
Oh, Pacino. Yeah, but he's not great in this.
No, but you have 3
I
of the
thought-
greatest
yes.
actors in
I
the
thought he
last
was going to
50
go
years.
with Kurt Russell, but
Pacino and Leo and Pitt are arguably
Sure. Yeah, I got you. I follow you now.
heavy, arguably, but I would argue that
And Leo's kind of annoying in this until he nails that scene, and you realize how good of an actor he has to be to play all of it together, and then to actually really nail it.
you have to realize how good of an actor he is to play a bad actor.
That's what I'm trying to say. Yes, that's exactly right. To play a bad actor and to be kind. Yeah, it was good. Leo's really good in this too.
They're both fucking. You're right. Pacino's just a guy in it.
Yeah.
But those two are so damn good in this movie. To me, I don't wait years. Like this movie's really, really good, and it's so I included that line about the magnum opus because that's how it was set out for casting calls. That's what the title of the movie was magnum opus.
Oh.
A little fun fact.
Nice. Yeah, it feels that way. I was taking some notes, and I'm just like, it feels like he pulls from every one of the other 8 movies. Like I had them, like there's music always on the radio that kind of makes sense.
The soundtrack
like Reservoir
is
Dogs,
ridiculously good.
the revision of history, like Inglourious Bastards, just a ton of film history knowledge, which I don't know that he does. Maybe and some other things. But like he loves westerns, like because he's done Hateful Eight, and then he has that kind of stuff in there. The Bruce Lee references and kung fu stuff like Kill Bill. Just the fact that he has feet, multiple women's feet in here. He's a foot guy. There feels like he's pulling from, except for the linear. There isn't a time hopping around like signature like in Pulp Fiction.
like in Pulp Fiction.
Which other than flashbacks, which don't really count, right? In your eyes.
flash forwards, I guess, when they like skip ahead.
Yeah,
couple
6 months, but again, that's still pretty linear. Which I'm almost surprised that he didn't do some type of time hopping, but I don't know, it was fine, and maybe that's why I didn't love it the first time because I expected
it jumped
something.
6 months, but that's it.
Yeah,
it
I
wasn't-
guess I was also anticipating more of the weave.
Yeah,
Like you have 2 linear stories with, I want to call him Jack Cahill, but Leo's character.
Yeah.
and then
Rick Dalton.
Rick Dalton, thank you. And then Cliff Booth, and they're just like going, and then you kind of have the Sharon Tate like tangent,
Yeah.
right? But they never like intersect more,
other
right?
than
Like, the end.
Well, and the Spawn movie ranch, but that's not only
Yeah, but that only like Cliff was the only one that was involved there,
right.
Right. So that I still feel that's just Cliff's story.
Yeah. Okay.
Sharon's out kind of doing her own thing.
Yeah, because Manson sees them at their house, but he
Right.
doesn't encounter the Rick or Booth
Right.
at that time.
Yeah.
And so then it's like, okay, then at the very end, they're like, oh, here's where they're all going to, interact. And, it would have been a little bit more if, like, hey, they had crossed paths that before, or, she had known that Rick Dalton had lived next door.
And I think arguably she did, based off the end. They were aware, but they just had never really
had an
hung out.
opportunity.
And I feel like even Leo said, he's like, I'm a pool party away from, being in a Polanski film. And it's like, because they're living their lives in their orbits are next to each other. They just haven't intersected yet. But it's not because, at least in my eyes, because they can't. It's just, it hasn't happened, and that's all it really comes down to.
Yeah, and what was Bounty Law supposed to be like Gunsmoke, or do we know what?
Like a lot of movies, I think there was one. I think they said that was
the bulk of the series, dude. What was that? Branded? Yeah, that's the show.
Branded. But there was a ton of those old shows that I saw.
Old Western shows, right, from the 50s.
Yeah.
Correct. Yeah. And I saw a note that like Bruce Dern was in like every one of the shows that they mentioned. That was real.
Funny. See, there's so many things.
Yeah.
I worked on a few of the things that I knew that maybe I thought you guys might not know. But yeah, I have to imagine there's tons of things like that that are just references. Well, I love Bruce Dern too.
But he wasn't even the original. It was supposed to be Burt Reynolds.
Okay.
And he died.
Passed away.
Before he got to shoot his scenes. And so Dern replaced him. And then the role of James Stacey was originally written for Bill Paxton, who died while it was being written, and then it went to Oliphant instead.
Yeah.
So
Oliphant back in the cowboy hat.
As a last minute replacement, who's like, I need a guy in a cowboy hat who could wear the hell out of a cowboy hat. So
great.
One thing I wanted to touch on was what I would say quite possibly the deepest cast of any movie ever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Because of Austin Butler and Margaret Qualley?
There are
Tim Roth, who got cut?
There are, by my count, correct, counting cuts that are still listed, people that I recognize their name, didn't even click on their picture, just recognize their name, 23 people in the cast list. James Remar is 55 down in the list. He's the deepest it goes that I...
Who's he?
Well, ironically, he's one of 3 guys in the movie who was in Girl Next Door.
Oh.
He's like the porn, porn king. I don't remember what his name was.
Yep.
There's so many people in this movie, and there are so many people that are in it for 2 minutes who, even since this movie, have vaulted into superstardom.
Right.
Like Austin Butler.
Yep.
Sydney Sweeney.
Yep.
I mean,
I forgot about Sydney Sweeney when I didn't know she was.
She's an afterthought in this movie. She's
just a girl,
a random girl in this movie.
Right.
Very much beneath Margaret Qualley, who's awesome. Dakota Fanning.
Yeah.
It just every scene you're watching, it's just like a who's who of people you know, and I think that's unbelievable.
And I also like the foreshadowing of. Like you mentioned, he's saying, "Oh, I'm a pool party away from," and that's how it ends. And then also, you have the whole scene of Cliff driving back to his trailer behind the drive-in, and he's doing a thing with the dog, making mac and cheese. You see how he is with Brandy the dog and making her wait. Yeah, it does. And then that's what causes the dog to go ape shit on people. And it's like you're like, oh, this isn't a violent Tarantino movie, and then all of a sudden it just goes into extreme violence for like 2 minutes.
Well, you're like Kill Bill vibe.
Yeah. And I was fine with it.
Yeah.
With the dog like going after him. I'm like, okay, that's fine. Until the one girl comes at him and stabs him.
Yeah.
And then he just smashes her face everywhere. I was like, oh, no.
It almost looked fake, too. Like, you tell it was the dummy. And I'm sure it was intentional.
It's so good.
I was like, I wrote down that was my note. I was like, it's a bit of an overkill, but it's a Tarantino film.
Yeah,
so
no, but I
it
think-
kind of
And that's
It
also
seemed on
you're under
purpose.
attack.
Yeah.
Fuck yeah.
and then Leo afterwards is just like, nah,
I had a flamethrower in
just
the
a bunch
garage.
of, flamethrower in the garage. Just a bunch of fucking
You
hippies.
see it earlier.
Yeah.
When he goes to fix the antenna, he grabs tools and the flamethrower is sitting right
Yeah.
there. So there's
Yeah.
your
Foreshadowing
more
there.
foreshadowing.
I just love the way he's just like, there's some hippies. Cliff and my wife took out 2 of them, and I took a flamethrower.
Turn to the other one to a
third.
crisp.
It made me laugh.
It's so awesome. And it's such a he cares obviously a lot about old Hollywood.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone knows that about Tarantino,
Yeah,
right?
the film nerd shines in this movie, and you gotta love that. You gotta, even if you don't love it, you have to respect it. I think, but yeah, most people I think love it because I think it's a good movie.
a couple you mentioned different things that are represented by some of his other movies. There's a couple things at least that I saw that were actually from other movies, including the car that Dalton's car that his Cadillac that he's driving around is
In Reservoir Dogs,
it actually belongs to Michael Madsen,
Oh.
who's obviously in the movie,
yeah,
which was in Reservoir Dogs. Yes,
yeah, nice.
and this one got me. This was I was like, damn. First of all, there's no chance you could know this without looking it up. But the girl,
Challenge accepted.
the girl who sold the acid cigarette
Yeah,
to Pitt, who is it?
Rumor Willis.
No, but she is in the movie.
I saw that. I didn't know where she was. No, I don't know.
Johnny, any guesses?
It was so
No.
quick, but they did show her twice.
That is the same actress, albeit a little bit older, who played BB in Kill Bill,
Nice.
which we did not that long ago.
Yeah.
Or probably longer than I want to realize.
right.
But
100 episodes ago.
right. But I was like, what an awesome little random spot. Again, that's
Yeah,
just
it's cool.
very Tarantino-esque to
Yeah.
just put that girl in a small spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Did you guys see the Maltese Falcon in the bookstore?
I did.
I did not.
When she went to go get the book that she
Yeah.
had on order.
Brady's trying to forget that movie.
Yep. And speaking of child actors, the girl who
The
plays
8-year-old method actor.
Julia Butters is her name.
She's very good.
So we don't know her name yet, but maybe she could bump this up one more person if she turns into somebody.
Right. I meant to look her up to see if she was in
It
something.
just so happened that Steven Spielberg was there. He claims that he visited the set on the day that they were filming her scenes and vowed to put her in a movie, and she was in The Fabelmans
Fabelmans, okay.
as a result, which I
One
think
of the
you
sisters.
saw.
Yeah,
I
I've
did
seen
not.
it.
But
It was okay. It's worth watching.
But yeah,
It has our boy from Snack Shack in it.
correct.
Which,
I do remember that.
Yeah, which is going to make more people watch it once SNL comes out. Is it out already?
Saturday night?
Yeah, Saturday
don't
night.
know.
Sorry. Yeah, no, SNL.
I don't think so.
Probably coming out soon. But the other thing, I just rewatched this Halloween season. I didn't get enough from our month of horrors.
Sure.
So I watched Rosemary's Baby, which is from 1968. Polanski, yeah. And so
I've heard of it, but I don't know anything about it.
I got it. I'm not going to recommend it for either of you guys. It's you might like it.
It's a
but
horror?
Yeah, it's good. It's just old. It is. You could tell it's from '68, but
I'm out.
I liked it. I really liked the rewatch. The second time I watched it, but there's a character, Dr. Saperstein, in Rosemary's Baby, and you see there's a scene where Roman Polanski here calls that his dog is Dr. Saperstein.
Yeah, that's funny.
Which is just funny.
Again, little
Yeah.
things here and
Right,
there.
like I would never have gotten that if I hadn't just watched
Just
it
watched the
recently.
movie.
They talked to Mama Cass, Mamas and the Papas, is in this.
A lot of the
Yeah.
Mamas and Papas.
Yeah. We had some Phillips in there, I think.
One of the westerns that Rick Dalton stars in, Red Blood, Red Skin, is
Yeah.
based on the novel "The Only Good Indian Is a Dead Indian" by Floyd Wilson. Floyd Wilson is the boxer killed in the fight with Butch in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, I mean, they made fake movie posters, right? And you only see them for a second, but I'm sure every detail.
They made very big ones
that you haul to your house
from Italy.
I mean, that's the cool thing when you're at this level for Tarantino. He just gets to do whatever the fuck he wants,
and I think,
and he'll be like, yeah, I need a movie poster this size. It's going to look like this style.
And
they said
the poster that's like in front of where they park.
Yeah.
You know, like they pulled up and parked in front of.
Yeah.
Like that, I think Burt Reynolds had something similar in like his garage. So they made a poster. They made something essentially as a representative of that.
It's so narcissistic, right? Like an actor to have
totally
that, right there. But I mentioned Sergio Leone as
Spaghetti
Westerns.
Yeah, the Spaghetti Westerns. Once Upon a Time. Have you guys seen Once Upon a Time in the West or Once Upon a Time in America? I think maybe you have some of them.
I've seen the Man with No Name series.
Was that the show on HBO about with Kid Cudi?
And the jeans?
How to make it in America.
Yeah.
No, I was trying to think of the name. I love that show. That was a good one.
Lake Bell?
Yeah.
Lake Bell. Yeah.
Brian Greenberg and...
I don't remember.
Good call.
Good
call. And then the other guy, I don't know.
Vincent something.
The other guy.
The other guy.
But yeah, I've seen both those movies in college. But I don't remember anything about them.
Yeah.
Like all I remember is that they're really long and
out.
Yeah, they're pretty dull. And I've seen the Man with No Name.
The only chance I have with any of those is if they're very short.
Yeah,
no, but I think that's why he wanted to make this movie long as well, because obviously he steals from that.
Got to fit into the.
Yeah, he borrows from that the naming convention and does in Hollywood, which I think it just works perfectly for this. And I wonder if there's more. Like, I would kind of like to rewatch them just to know if there's more references.
Yeah.
For me, there are those probably from Once Upon a Time in America, and it's De Niro's in that one. I don't think.
Yeah, I actually have. I think I have seen that.
It was a little later. It was 1984, but it's just really long and like a more like a gangster movie. But I don't remember anything.
It's like an Immigrant Story, though. It's kind of like The Godfather without
the
mafia tied to it. It's just like
people
coming over to America and then trying to make a living.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I thought Spaghetti Westerns was an homage to them being filmed in Italy, when it's not. It's the derogatory slang for them being made in Italy.
Yeah, yeah. They don't like that over there.
You're right. It's like, oh, you're doing this because it's Italy. And they're like, no, they call it that because it's not an American-made Western.
Yeah, but they are critically acclaimed, so it is. Some of them are good, and the Man with No Name stuff was pretty good. And clearly, that's what they were going for, kind of parodying that here with Clint Eastwood, or would be Clint Eastwood instead of Jack Dalton.
Yeah,
doing it.
The reference to The Great Escape is that one got me good because I love The Great Escape. Have you ever seen it?
No. Is that the one that they put him in?
Yeah.
They said instead of McQueen.
Right.
It's such a
you could tell Tarantino loves it too because he's like, I would love to film it with Leo in it.
Yeah.
And then again, they did it.
Yeah. It's like on a level. It's not. You wouldn't call it a heist movie, but it is. It's an escape movie, right? Right.
So which is very similar. There's Escape from Alcatraz is pretty good too.
Yeah.
It's not a bad pairing. We might have to do
those
point.
too.
For older movies, they're entertaining, and I haven't seen them in a long time, so I can't for sure vouch on it. You know what else I love is Cool Hand Luke.
Yes,
that's an all-time fave.
Well, and that reminds me of, I think Tarantino saying, he said in an interview that it was that Pitt and DiCaprio were very Redford Newman-esque, and they're actually like the same age difference between them, which kind of actually surprised me. But I think it's like 11 years between them.
That was one of the notes I had. Is also Pitt looks more and more like Redford in every as he gets older. I was like, if they want to do like
Spy Game, baby,
a Robert Redford film, like right now, like
a Robert Redford biopic
with Brad Pitt, he'd nail it.
He's so awesome.
He'd nail it.
He won.
He nails everything.
Won Best Supporting Actor, which arguably for his screen time, I don't know if he was supporting or lead.
Yeah, I mean, plenty of people have done that, but he, in my opinion,
it's funny because sometimes the supporting literally only has like 1 minute of screen time.
Yeah,
and that's like what they do is just like for somebody to come up and they're like, oh yeah, he gets.
In my opinion, it's well overdue.
Yeah, well overdue,
but well earned. Jelani can disagree for now until he. But I also loved it the first time around. I thought he was awesome immediately. I'm admittedly a big Pitt fan, but I think he's so damn good in this. Like, don't remember who he was up against, but I think he was beyond.
He was very, very cool in this. I finished the movie and I was thinking, I'm like, I don't know that there's I'd be hard. He's in the conversation for all time coolest character on film.
100%.
The last thing that I was going to mention was so the movie poster touts this as Quentin Tarantino's 9th film. Is there any reason why they would illustrate it being the 9th?
He's only going to do so many.
He's only going to do 10.
Oh, okay.
So he hasn't done one since, right?
Nope.
Yeah, so he's still working on that last one because that's what he said. He
was writing this for like 5 years. I think he said.
Yeah, he feels that most directors overstay their welcome, and most people only have like 10 good films in them. He said that he's famous for saying that he could always come back. He could always pull a Daniel Day-Lewis and just come back for something.
Right. I don't think anyone's gonna make him.
Stick to his word.
Pay any sort of penance for deciding to make another movie, but that would be why, because there is a finite amount of movies that are going to be made theoretically by him.
Yeah,
he could always just say Kill Bill is just one big movie and volume 1 and 2, and then just sneak another one in there.
Yeah, exactly.
So as we were talking about short time on film for award-winning actors.
Oh,
what do you think the shortest length for a lead actor is?
Oh, for a lead.
I can give you lead.
I was going to say for supporting. We were talking about the Fabelmans earlier. Judd Hirsch is only on. I watched that movie.
He won too.
I don't know if he won.
Yes, he did.
Did he win?
Yeah.
I think that was a big deal.
He was literally on for like 2 minutes.
Yeah,
he comes in as like an uncle, gets in the car, says like one good line that's kind of cool,
bullshit,
and then he wins.
He was on the screen for 8 minutes.
8 minutes.
Yeah, I think that's bullshit.
He is not the shortest for Best Supporting Actor. So I can give you...
I assume you're talking about winners.
Yes, Best Supporting Actor winners. Shortest screen time is less than that.
Yeah, I feel like I know this, but I don't. Oh, it could be Alec Baldwin in Glengarry Glen Ross? No. I don't think he got nominated or won for that.
Ben Affleck in Boiler Room?
Yeah, which is based on. Nice work.
No, it's actually Ned Beatty in Network.
Deliverance on Network.
In Network.
Why not?
It's mad as hell and they're not going to take it, right? Isn't that Ned
What was
Beatty?
the time frame, bro?
No.
6 minutes of screen time.
No, that guy's a main.
Oh, no, that's the big guy. I forget who that was. So, William Hurt won for being on screen for 8 minutes and 22 seconds in A History of Violence. Alan Arkin won
I love that movie. You guys didn't like it.
For Argo, and he was in there for 8 minutes and 39 seconds.
Yeah, this is just, they're too short.
That's why they use it as just as a way to honor the actor more than in like a good role.
Anthony Hopkins won Best Actor.
Silence of the Lambs.
Silence of the Lambs.
Not on it that much.
24 minutes and 52 seconds.
But in a weird way, he's like such a focal point of the movie.
Yeah.
Spencer Tracy won for San Francisco. Martin, seen that? Read the book?
Mm-mm.
No. 14 minutes and 58 seconds.
But I don't know San Francisco.
Yeah.
I didn't even know there was a movie.
And then some of the leading actresses. Frances McDormand was 26 minutes, 29 seconds for Fargo.
Huh.
And then Louise Fletcher was 22 minutes, 37 seconds for
Cuckoo's Nest.
One Who Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest.
So. Yeah, interesting. But those are longer than I thought. I thought you were going to say someone was literally on for like 2 minutes or something like that. Hermione
Badley, Room at the Top, 2 minutes, 19 seconds.
Well, I guess he was.
And then Judi Dench, Dame Judi Dench for Shakespeare in Love, 5 minutes, 52 seconds.
There you go.
Did you know much about the Manson murders?
No, kind of no. I can't remember if I looked up stuff before or I think after. So learned a little bit more about it later and how much what actually happened. And but I never. Yeah, I didn't watch. There's like some documentaries and there's books written about it. And
there's a lot. I did not know much about it.
I feel like when I was younger, like in high school, I thought it was like kind of an interesting story, but I didn't, go deep. I don't think everyone knows that Sharon Tate was killed.
Yeah,
famously.
But Helter Skelter is the book, right? Because they said that it was
that he wrote while in prison.
But I never read it. Yeah.
No.
I don't think that's not a Manson didn't write that book.
It's about the murders.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's like a crime.
But so there was a note I saw was that when Manson went to the Pulaski house and Jay tells him that Terry and Candy aren't there, he's talking about Doris Day's son, producer Terry Melcher, and his then girlfriend, actress Candice Bergen. And those were two people very much involved. And then we had a topic of conversation the other day come up, Martin, that you brought up. This isn't even it, but Margot Robbie is so effing gorgeous in this movie. And I think the topic you saw
is she
on TikTok,
the most attractive person on film ever?
The question that you saw, I think it was on TikTok or something, was what is the most, like, who is the most attractive person, like, on screen, like, in their moment or whatever?
Yeah.
And she's staggeringly gorgeous all the time. But
yes.
In this movie, very, very gorgeous, portraying Sharon Tate. But also, Wolf of Wall Street comes to mind.
Wolf of Wall Street is what people would say if they were saying Margot Robbie. The first person I heard mentioned, and I've seen it a few different times now, is Transformers and Megan Fox. And then people will say Brad Pitt, Fight Club.
Yeah,
if you're going that route,
he's I mean, it's iconic for sure. But I thought of it as you sent that, and like 2 days later, I watched this movie, and I was like, "Shoot,
she
Margot
might be
is right there. She's pretty awesome." And they said there was a little another nod because it's nothing but nods and homages. They're flying the Pan Am flight.
Yeah.
The hands of the stewardess, you don't see the stewardess. It's Margot, who was in the show Pan Am on NBC before she got big.
I didn't
just
know that.
little things here and there. It's just an endless stream of things that are tied to something, or you can connect in one way, shape, or form. Kurt Russell, we mentioned briefly, is one of the many actors in this movie. His dad was in a bunch of the shows that were out at the time.
Really?
Bing Russell, I think they said his name.
Great name, Bing.
And Kurt Russell, and the wife was Zoe Bell, the one that was like freaking out. As stunt coordinators, Russell previously played Stuntman Mike in Death Proof.
Yes,
in which Belle, a real life stunt performer, also appeared as herself. She also served as Uma Thurman's stunt double in Kill Bill.
Oh, that makes sense because she's pretty tall and blonde.
Yep, tall and blonde. Which featured the theme to the Green Hornet on its soundtrack, which
starred Bruce Lee.
It's just, it's like every piece you pull,
and you had
every thread you pull.
Uma Thurman and what's her name, Maya Hawke.
Maya Hawke. She's on the list
briefly.
Yeah, but she's turning into someone who's having a career.
Yeah, she was in Stranger Things and some other stuff.
The list is insane, as we talked about. It's Leo, it's Brad, it's Margot. Emile Hirsch, surprisingly, was fourth bill.
Was he fourth bill?
Well, I mean, this says in credits order, so I don't know if that necessarily means Bill or not. But we mentioned him as being in Girl Next Door.
Margaret
Qualley.
Yeah.
Just, I mean, I get why Pitt was a little,
married to Jack Antonoff now.
Yeah, I found that out recently.
Yeah.
Thanks to the Tick and Talk.
Yeah, he was challenging people to fight him.
That's exactly what it was.
Which I loved. He was like, "Come at me, I'll fight you."
It's funny. I was talking about her at work or I was talking about the movie, and someone brought up that they thought she was extremely attractive. And I was like, she's very like sultry in this movie, and you totally get it. She's like luring him.
She's got no ID though.
There, but no one knew who her mom was. And so I was like telling them, which
they didn't
get them. So her mom famously is Andie MacDowell. And one guy did know Groundhog Day, so he realized it. Then we were looking at pictures of that. So, and I was like, once you see it, you can't not see it. Because she totally is her daughter. I mean, it's very much.
I went through many seasons of Leftovers before I found it.
Same. 100%. I'm not even sure I found it in Leftovers. I think Mary was watching like a show about a maid. I don't know what it was called. It's like on Netflix maybe or HBO. And she was the star. And that's when I found out. And I was like, holy shit. Our boy Oliphant, Austin Butler, another guy. 5 minutes of screen time. And, he's gone on
pre-Elvis, pre-Dune.
Supposedly did this movie over the role of Rooster in the new Top Gun, which went to our boy Glenn Powell.
Yeah, I could see him in the Top Gun movies for sure.
No, I think Powell was the right.
Oh yeah, no, definitely the right call. But
Dakota Fanning, Squeaky.
Rooster was Miles Teller.
That scene
was that was Miles Teller?
Yeah.
Wait, who was? Oh yeah, because it was
it should have been Gosling, not Ryan Gosling, but the nickname should have been. Gosling.
You wanted it to be Goose's son. Yeah,
Goose's son is Gosling.
Take me back to Wild Robot. Dakota is. I mean, you could tell it's her, but it's like, damn.
You're gonna have to shake him because I just fucked his brains up. I'm not expecting you to say that.
Dakota, where's Denzel?
Yeah, right. Creasy Bear. What do you think? Did Cliff kill his wife on that boat?
It might have been an accident. He might have just
holding that harpoon right at him. The trigger
might have just slipped. It's a boat. There's waves, turbulence.
Yeah, no doubt. It actually reminded me of the whole like Natalie Wood story for a second too.
Yeah,
maybe that was.
But I think that was supposed to be like a lot of people on a boat,
right?
Like, so I don't know if it is, but that's where my brain went.
Yeah, just a random.
Just feels like he's just like tying in like I said, every thread. You got a Luke Perry sighting.
Luke Perry,
which was his last movie. He also a lot of people died related to this movie. Damian Lewis, another
as
3-minute role as McQueen. Which is just apparently he was. So I saw some note along the lines of like in Band of Brothers, the director or whoever was like, "Oh, you look just like Steve McQueen," and I'm sure Tarantino saw a note one day and was like, "Wow, well, you're Steve McQueen."
Don't know.
Yeah,
we're gonna play fast and loose with it. So
I feel like it could have been somebody else better. I didn't buy it with the wig, but whatever. It was fine. It was a 2-second role.
Yeah, Pacino, Lena Dunham. Speaking of Jack Anson,
right.
Wow, didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I thought about it as soon as they hugged. I was like, oh, I wonder if this was at all
interesting.
How this happened.
That is weird.
I got someone just for you, my ex, Jack.
Maya Hawke, you mentioned Sydney Sweeney. Harley Quinn Smith sounds familiar, but that probably is just because of the Harley Quinn part.
Thing.
Yeah.
You got Scoot McNairy.
Yeah, Scoot.
Which I saw a fun fact that him and Leo share a birth date of 11/11, which is shared by my son.
Oh, there you go.
Nice.
So good for them. I bet I know their favorite number. Almost, I would say, unrecognizable because I didn't catch it in the moment. Is Clifton Collins Jr.
Yeah,
in the background.
Who's that?
Who's the actor?
Yeah.
You would know.
You would
him.
know him if you sure.
I'm looking him up.
Yeah.
He was Ernesto the Mexican vaquero.
Okay. I don't know how to tell people who he is, but he's in Capote is the first thing I think.
You just have to know that you'd know him.
Yeah, you'd know.
I always think of him from 187, which is like forever ago.
But he's been in Traffic, Star Trek, and Brothers.
Yes, he's been in a lot more. He's been in a lot of stuff.
Yeah,
but Jelani's movie, The Bricklayer, or is that Redding's movie?
That's Redding.
Somebody liked that movie or told us we should watch it. But
pass.
Nightmare Alley. He was in that.
Oh, that's true. Yeah,
like
he's just in a ton of shit.
Yeah.
And then
he's working.
Martin,
guys
girl, Rumor Willis.
Yeah. Who was she?
She was one of the girls.
Joanna Pettit. Rebecca Gayheart. I did not see her at all.
She was the wife.
She got cut?
No, she was the wife.
Wife of what?
She was Cliff Booth's wife.
Try that again. Oh, that's
who was yelling at him. She had the shades on
when he killed.
That was Rebecca Gayheart?
Right.
Noxzema?
Her face belongs to Noxzema.
Jawbreaker.
Wow. I did not. I saw that and Billy Booth. I guess I should have looked at that part. Kurt Russell, Zoe Bell. Michael Madsen, I definitely picked up on him. Tim Roth, we talked about, got cut. Seems deleted. Jay Sebring's Butler.
Yeah.
And Remar. Dude, it's crazy how many people are in this movie.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I mean, when Quentin calls, you're like, yeah, sure, whatever.
True.
I'll do it.
You guys been to any of those Hollywood landmarks that they kept showing the signs of?
No, I know.
Been to Musso and Frank's.
So, yeah, Musso and Frank's I know from the show Bosch.
Brady's still the only person.
Bosch.
Only person that watched
We
it.
got Bosch and we got Suits over here.
Because they also Jazzman.
What's that?
Bosch loves jazz.
Oh, okay.
But he always went to Musso and Frank's, and so I literally that's kind of how I know of it.
Hollywood mainstay for sure.
Yeah,
famous.
Been around forever.
But there were a bunch of other, a bunch of like neon signs and stuff that
they
came
were all
up
firing
that
up.
I'd heard of some of them. Yeah, it was a cool scene because I'd heard of some of them, but never been to a lot of them.
Yeah, it's a better way to show old Hollywood than A Touch of Evil and their continuous shot.
A Touch of Evil, not great, but it wasn't as bad as.
It was
that bad.
Okay. It was.
Charlton Heston playing a Mexican.
Where does this fall for you in the Tarantino
oeuvre?
Yes, clearly. I mean, is it Jelani? I think I know it doesn't fall too high for you.
Not yet. I mean, it was good. I enjoyed. Like I said, I'd probably have to go watch it again to get more of the nuance of it, but. It was fine. It was a Tarantino film, like you anticipated. I don't think it beats out Pulp Fiction or Kill Bill. But I can't say it. I haven't seen Hateful Eight.
It beats out Hateful Eight. I did not love it.
Maybe top 6.
Well, it's his 9th.
Yeah, if we're talking about only ones
5?
that he directed, right? Not.
Yeah.
We're not including True Romance. And,
no.
I would say it beats out Kill Bill for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, which I'm surprised that I'm saying that too. I'm not sure it beats out Pulp Fiction. But it might be my number 2. But I also love Reservoir Dogs, but it's just like, I mean, it's really hard to compare Reservoir Dogs to this, one's this indie very
better
cool,
than Inglourious Bastards.
Oh yeah, no, that's going to be tough. That's going to be a tie for me right now.
See, it's sliding.
Yeah,
sliding
right.
down the list.
You're right.
It's hard though.
It's
pretty
Inglourious
damn
Bastards
high for me.
really good.
It's pretty damn high for me. But yeah, I still think Kill Bill is. I really, really love Kill Bill, but I think this is legitimately one of his best that he's made. I think this is a phenomenal movie.
Yeah. As always, go smoke a cigarette dipped in acid, and then make sure you subscribe to our Film Fathers podcast, wherever you listen. Thanks, and save it for the pod.